Hey everyone, Christopher here with tutorial video number 5, this time highlighting dramatic combat. I'm not quite sure why I decided to set up our battle map this way this time. I guess I was just looking for a bigger fight. What I wanted to do in this video is explain to you the differences that dramatic combat brings to the main combat system. In most ways, dramatic combat is faster than the main combat system, but the trade-off for this is that you do not have the same level of tactical detail that you have in the main combat system. So in order to give some demonstration of some of the changes about this, I'm actually going to play out a turn or two here. We have Draco and Brock, and Tetsubo is still here. And then this thug that I was using before with his sideways handgun because he enjoys breaking his wrist, I just decided to name him Leon, and we're going to assume he's another fighter as well. All right, so the first thing that changes in dramatic combat versus the main combat system is any speed modifier you have, whether it's normally for initiative or control, is always done on initiative in dramatic combat because there is no control in dramatic combat. So in this case, Draco is going to have a D6, Brock is going to have a D4, and since I don't have Tetsubo or Leon sheets here, I'm going to give Leon a D8 and Tetsubo a D6. Okay, so let me generate some numbers here. We got a 5 and a 6 and some other numbers here. Oops, that's a 6 here. 4 and a 3. All right, so the guy with the highest initiative die actually is going last. Tetsubo manages to go first. All right, so the first thing was this change in initiative. The next thing that there's a change is in the way that you do attacks. All right, Tetsubo is going to advance one range and attack, and he's going to attack Brock. And like I said, I don't have a sheet in front of me, but I'm just going to create a level 3 move here for him. And we're going to say that this level 3 move normally would do a D8 damage and has no accuracy modifier. Special moves, when they're used in the dramatic combat system, have two big changes. First of all, they always have a +2 accuracy over basic moves. Because in an anime fight, in a shonen fight, if someone's going to use one of their named moves, that's going to be one of their big attacks. So they get a +2 to hit. All right, so Brock has got a defense of 3. He's going to spend 1 fighting spirit to bring it up to a 4. Tetsubo gets a +2 to hit. Oh, heck, he's going to spend 1 point of fighting spirit to guarantee that he hits. All right, so he hits Brock with that. Now, I said that the attack does a D8, and Brock has a 0 stamina, so that would be a D8. All special moves in dramatic combat have a die size increase in damage as well. So the damage for this attack is going to be a D10, only 3 points, but still it's 3 points, and he suffers knockback as usual. Okay, so they do more damage, they have greater accuracy, and you have no control rolls to roll, so why not just use your special moves all the time? Well, because in anime, special moves don't get used all the time. They're used infrequently and usually as big finishing moves more often than not. There are limits to when you can use a special move. The distinctive character of the dramatic combat system is played out by action points. Every fighter gains 1 action point every turn, and they can save them from turn to turn. And you can use these action points for a variety of effects. One of these effects, of which there is about 40 in the core rules, one of these effects is to use a special move. It costs you 1 action point to use a special move, like we just did here. Now, there's a couple of qualifiers to this. First of all, if your special move fails to take out your opponent, then you don't get an action point on the next turn, which gives you an incentive to only use your special moves when you think your opponent is close to being defeated. Second of all, if you want to use the same special move in the same fight a second time, then you actually have to acquire the level's move squared in order to actually use it again. So a level 3 move would cost 9 action points to use a second time in a fight. Essentially what this means is that you're only going to use each special move once. Now, with the limitation on special moves, and as you might have gathered with no control, there's also no combos in dramatic combat, it would seem like that would actually slow combat down, because even though the attacks are doing more damage, you can only do so many before you're relying more on basics, and also that there's no combos to increase your damage. Well, all fighters in dramatic combat only have half their life bar. And that's pretty substantial, with each attack getting an extra die size increase in damage and only half life bar. So your average power level 1 character, who can normally take 8 or 9 hits in a normal fight, can usually only take about 3, maybe 4 hits in a dramatic combat fight. So that makes a big difference. Amongst the other kinds of options that you can use in dramatic combat, you can also use a lot of your narrative skills to gain other abilities, such as being able to move more swiftly, to be able to use property damage, to be able to throw something at an opponent even when you don't have a ranged attack. When you get further down in life bar, that you can use climactic super move to actually take out an opponent in a single hit. You can use Endure Great Hardship to suck up a tremendous amount of damage. All of these different narrative skills can give you new combat options in dramatic combat. In fact, it is possible, depending on how you built your character, that your character might be more or less effective in dramatic combat than they are in regular combat, the main combat system. All right, so a couple of other things I can show you here. Tetsubo went first. He attacked Brock, hit Brock, knocked him back, which means Brock does suffer hit stun. And in this, the hit stun is simplified. If you get hit, you lose your action, unless you spend an action point to ignore hit stun. Brock's not going to do that. He's going to save his action point right now. All right, so that takes care of Tetsubo and Brock. So Draco is next. Draco is going to try to attack Brock now. He is going to use his Dragon Spirit, which is also a special move, which puts Tetsubo, I'm sorry, that's what I meant, he's going to attack Tetsubo. That's going to put him in a bad way. We're going to look and say, yeah, 5 is definitely going to hit. That's going to do a D8 damage to Tetsubo, which does 8, which is going to stun him for sure. All right, so he is knocked back here and stunned. But he does not suffer any more hit stun because he had already went this turn. And then Leon is last at a 3. Leon is going to, what is he going to try to do? He is going to step forward and just do a basic attack, saving his action point. And no, 2 is probably not going to hit. I'm not doing all the math for these attacks. All right, so that's the end of the first round. Let's roll the initiative for the second round. Again, I'm going to keep it to their straight dice rather than spending fighting spirit just to generate some numbers here. Draco gets a 5 again. Tetsubo gets a 6 again. Leon gets a 1, and Brock gets a 1. All right, what I want to do here is, well, Tetsubo's easy because all he's going to do is stand up and be confused. And Draco is he's gonna attack Leon on this. I want to demonstrate something else here. There is a special rule in the case of simultaneous initiative, which Brock and Leon both have, as long as they are within range of one another, and in this case they are. And that, in the case of simultaneous initiative, what happens instead is a flourish, which you've seen in anime scenes where they each just throw 100 punches at each other, and then one of them manages to land a telling blow. In this, they roll a D10 against each other. I'm sorry, not a D10 against each other. A D6 initiative roll is what they're rolling. I'm sorry, it's an initiative roll against each other, which Brock is not going to win. He does not win. And the winner of that special initiative roll does an automatic D10 damage, 9 points on Brock. He is practically unconscious already. And then that's the end of their round. They don't get a chance to do anything else. Flourish is also a special attack option that you can do by spending an action point. So you can see that the feel, the momentum of combat is a little bit different. There's greater opportunities for higher damage and more opportunities to do strange stuff, which I didn't even talk about. You can escape from combat and heal fighting spirit and life bar. You can, if you have certain skills, you could take you and another opponent off of the battlefield because you take them to a spiritual dimension and you continue your fight away from the opponents. You might have skills that allow you to use mind control magic on another fighter and take them over for a turn. All of these things are built in very easily into the dramatic combat system. So, dramatic combat, thug thrashing, the main combat system. 3 different flavors of combat for 3 different kinds of scenes, 3 different ways to use your character's distinctive fighting style, all to show different kinds of action, still centered around the core of the game, which is, of course, fighting. Alright, that's it. I'll see you guys later.